Okay, so this was the last official day of CES, and I have to admit, things were really winding down, including me. I'm going to be very honest with you. I was super tired that day. And I'm going to show you a few things that I saw that day. I'm going to start out by saying that I went back to Tech East at the convention center to see what I didn't see the last time I was there. And just to let you know, Tech East, not only do they have the convention center, there's actually exhibits outside, and I decided to take time to visit those. And I'll give you a report on them.
Okay, so I don't know if you can tell with some of the pans I'm doing with my camera, but some of these exhibits they have outside are very elaborate. Like, they build these entire buildings here and then just kind of set it up just so you can view products. And this one I'm in now is for Kia, and they had a very huge display. And I'm talking, not only was it big, but it had the setup where you could actually show what it was like to drive their cars, and then you could actually get inside this car, which was on this kind of sort of weird thing where it would move the car around, and there's kind of a CG screen there, and it actually felt like you were driving this car. And I gotta give kudos to Kia for setting up something this complicated, because wow, I mean, dude. Then Walmart got in the action. They had a booth there that had this theater that showed had some moving seats. It was like a 4D experience. I'm sorry I didn't get better footage than this. I had my GoPro on I thought it would film better than this. Not really very interesting. And this was Vallejo. They had one of those booths up there. I kind of went in their thing. I really don't know what this company does, so I didn't really stay that long. Okay, now one of the biggest displays that was in this outdoor courtyard was one from BMW. And I decided to risk walking down there because it was like on the other side of the convention center. And here's where you can see how big the convention center is. I didn't really know what to expect when I came in here, and at this point in time, on the last day of CES, I didn't really feel like these booths were adequately manned. I felt like they were manned with a minimal amount of personnel, so I didn't even know what questions to ask. And here's just a shot of me just walking through, I believe this is Central Hall, because honestly, I just kind of really couldn't figure out what I was supposed to do right before lunch. I just had a bit of time, so I just kind of went through. You'll notice like there isn't a lot of people. This is the last day, and there's not a lot of people at the wandering around the booths. There's not a lot of people at the booths. At this point in time, I think everybody's just pretty much gone home, so I just kind of left, and there's going to be a big bright light here. Sorry about that. But I just wanted to make sure that I was, getting as much as I could. So I went to the convention center. This would be the Central Hall, right after lunch to see what I could find. And this time I went to I think it's North Hall? I'm pretty sure it's North Hall because I started at West. And North Hall was like, there was a bunch of companies devoted to health and stuff like that. There wasn't really much I could do here, but I definitely wanted to get some shots of it, just so you could see kind of how big all this place really is. And as you can see, a lot of these booths are taken down. There's so much empty space now. So yeah, there wasn't really much I could really do on this last day. And maybe this is why you can see why I kind of came home early, which I report a little bit later, because yeah, there just wasn't really much anything to do here. I don't know what I'm going to do to make the most of my last day at CES next year. I'm thinking about that now as we speak. And while I was there at the North Hall, there were some automotive exhibits, like say for example Honda. This white car that you see is called the Space Hub, and it was quite something to see. It reminds me of that super truck that Tesla is making, the one that's supposed to be super invulnerable, and but this one was like super cool looking. I really like this thing. And I could probably stare at it for quite a while, and that's why I took this tape. And of course there was a saloon, this nice little sports car number. Man, I did not know what to make of this. Man, I feel like Michael Knight would be driving this thing with Kit at the wheel. And considering we're close to automated driving vehicles, not too far from a leap from the technology we've got now. So yeah, this is something that I really enjoyed. Okay, so that was it for me. I decided to leave a little early. And this is a shot of me just leaving the Central Hall area of CES. And this is where you kind of get the just kind of a goodbye vibe. And yeah, I played Leaving Las Vegas, but I don't have the rights to the song. And I believe the next line in that song is Leaving for Good. And I'm not leaving for good. I fully intend to come back next year. So that is hardly leaving for good. Weather was super nice there compared to what I've got at home here, which right now is super snowy with like inches of snow on the ground. So it's a nice contrast to what I got now.
And yes, today is the last day of CES, and let's just put it this way. I didn't really do that much today. Yeah, as you can tell, I am really wiped out by it. Now, the show floor itself was open from 9 to 4, but I think I left it around 2 or something. I realized something that essentially I'd gotten so much stuff that I want to review in the next few weeks that I'm not going to be able to bring it home with me, so I just decided to just put it in a big box, went to FedEx, and just sent it to me. I actually think it probably would have been cheaper if I just gotten that big box on a plane and checked it in like a bag, honestly. But hey, it will reach me, and then we'll do videos about that stuff. I just got super hugely tired, and I just basically said, like, okay, I think this party's kind of over, so I just kind of left very early. Anyway, I really hope you've enjoyed this trip. I'm really gonna talk about it, get to the ins and outs of CES, and I've been going to it for more than 15 years, so hey, I can talk about some of the stuff I'm seeing, and hey. Alright, it's time to simply wrap this up. CES is pretty much the hardest week that I work, really. I've always loved this trip that I make, the contacts I make, and the work that I get afterwards because of it. I was hoping that I could really do a show this experience, and now that I've completed my first full-length movie, this documentary, I'm pleased in some places, but not so much in others. Perhaps when we do CES 2025, I'll have better equipment, steadier cameras, better microphones. Maybe I can get a whole staff following me and get more than just a rudimentary recording this next time. If you enjoyed this movie, then maybe you'll be inspired to make plans to go to CES 2025. Yeah, I'm going to give you some advice and have a great CES. Number 1, find a hotel close to the shuttle services for easy transport. I recommend the Luxor or the Excalibur if you're looking for a low-budget hotel, especially since they're walking distance from the media days at Mandalay Bay. I've driven in Las Vegas before when I go to CES. I've discovered you lose a lot of time in traffic, and a lot of these casinos are charging for parking now. Number 2, have a general but not specific plan. CES puts out the floor plans at least 1 month before the show. Yeah, you can take a look at it and might be able to plan to visit specific booths you want to see. However, you really want to be surprised here. So I usually don't make plans in advance to see certain booths, even though I get a lot of emails wanting me to. I think I mentioned before how I used to respond to these emails, sure, I'll be at this booth at a certain time, and it just reduced the amount of time I had on the floor, because there was always this thing like, oh, I gotta be here, and you have to plan your trip accordingly on that. So number 3 is lose as little time as possible, and when I'm on CES, I only break for lunch. The rest of the time is devoted to being on the show floor, seeing what I can see. If you gotta take the shuttle from the Venetian to the Las Vegas Convention Center, it can take up an hour depending on the traffic, which is time you will not get back again. That's why I visited the Venetian 2 days and the Convention Center for the other 2, staying the entirety of the day at those places. I only took a shuttle from the RH to the Venetian and lost a little bit of time there, but Okay, number 4 is hit the big after parties. If you can get in with a media badge, go to CES Unveiled for sure, and PepCon the next day, then Showstoppers on the first official day. I find it hardest to get into Showstoppers, which I think is my favorite of the 3 after parties. And number 5, budget accordingly. This year, I spent nothing on meals. I know the after parties I went to had food, and CS provided the media breakfast and lunch. I didn't spend any money on the casinos or high-priced restaurants on the Strip. Trying to think if I have anything else to say, but I think I've mostly said everything I can say about CES, which I'm very glad because I really enjoy the trip that I make each year, even though it's very taxing upon me because I mentioned before I'm on the spectrum, so going to places that are new to me or going through things like that can be very frightening sometimes. With CES, I've been so many times that actually it's pretty routine. And there are times in which I've had issues like there's been a few times where I've gotten into car accidents or the car is broken down on the way to CES. I don't really want to get into those because those were things that are not the fault of CES. And hey, I mean, I believe I mentioned at the beginning of this movie that I had the huge, well, it wasn't even that huge of a setback, but it was a bit of a setback because I really wanted to go to CES Unveil, but the flight got moved and there's really nothing I can do. So, gotta roll with the punches, take what you can get, and CES really gives a lot. So, yeah. Anyway, I want to thank the Consumer Technology Association for putting on CES. Hopefully they are not upset that I made a film with CES in the title. And I also want to thank all the people that I met at CES here. And yeah, okay, this is not going to win the best documentary, and I really shouldn't make like I'm doing an Oscar speech. But I think you hear me on this. Anyway, I'll be back next month for another episode of my show, a subject that I'm not really certain what I'm going to talk about. In the meantime, you're going to see a lot of reports of me doing product reviews. So until then, this is Mark Rollins from the Geek Church, and I'm signing off. And hey. Anyway, it's been Mark Rollins from the Geek Church, and I'm signing off.